obviously, the mores of the culture have differentiated for the past 20 years and gotten more and more and more extreme, and now people are, willing to believe anything. I mean, look at that Raelian cult. I mean, it's unbelievable to me how, masses can be swayed into these just New Age garbage-type religions.
Welcome back. They call themselves Raelians. People believe their leader has been contacted by extraterrestrials, but it is not their beliefs that have caught attention right now, but it is their pursuit of being the first to bring a human clone onto the planet's surface. The Raelians say the company Clonaid is making progress. That's their company. The leader of the group, Rael, is with us now from Montreal. Now, am I saying that correctly? Your name
yes,
in the group? Okay.
Very good.
I want, just for our audience, I want to make sure that they understand all of this. It was about 20 years ago, 19 years ago. What happened that changed your life and revealed to you so much about this alien civilization?
28 years ago, in 1973, I had an encounter with the Elohim. These people, the Bible talk about the Elohim. In Hebrew, you don't have the word God in the Bible, but Elohim. And in fact, the Bible is the oldest atheist book. There is no God in the Bible, but Elohim, which means in Hebrew, those who came from the sky. It's an advanced civilization which came on Earth a long time ago and created life on Earth by genetic engineering. And we can find in many, many religions of the world traces of what they did long time ago. That was the encounter I had with them in 1973. I met them in 1973, and they gave me a message. And now we have around the world 55,000 members helping me to prepare the coming back of the Elohim.
All right, and they told you to clone people? Because now you have used the money that you've raised, some of it, to create Clonaid.
No, that's not exactly true. We support cloning and we support a project. We launched a project named Clonaid, which can be found on the website clonaid.com, in order to help the advancement of science, because science is our religion. We don't believe in God, we don't believe in soul, we believe in science, and that science should be free. We have been created on the earth long time ago thanks to science, and only science.
Simply put, what the Venus Project represents and what the Zeitgeist movement hence condones could be summarized as the application of the scientific method for social concern. One of the greatest discoveries of humankind, which has allowed for tremendous advancement in our abilities on this planet, has been the understanding and application of science. Through the humane application of science and technology to social design and decision-making, we have the means to transform our environment into something exceedingly more balanced, organized, humane, productive, and most importantly, sustainable. As many are aware at this time, both our societal integrity and ecological integrity are in serious question. The current economic system is falling apart at an accelerating rate, with the prospect of worldwide unemployment and destabilization occurring possibly on the largest scale ever seen.
I mean, when you hear the words one world, one consciousness, well, that means that everybody's going to speak the same language. We're going to be under the same set of rules. It looks like we're all going to be wearing the same clothes according to this utopia. I mean, what is this? I mean, is this the humanity that you want to bring your children up in? It certainly isn't what I want.
I am human. I am of this planet Earth.
I am a human being. Don't put any qualificative or race or tradition or religion on me. I am before all a human being. Then I can be Jewish, black, Raelian. Remember, you are a human being.
I'm not Christian, I'm human.
I am not Asian, I'm human being.
I'm not a man, I'm not a butler, I'm a human being.
I am a conscious being, not human. And every conscious being is part of my family.
We are not gay, we're human. I'm not a woman, I'm a human being.
I'm not a European, I am a human being.
I am not a transvestite, I am a human being.
If the education will change and every baby born on this earth will receive education saying you are human, you are conscious. Forget the color, forget the religion. You are consciousness first. Then there is no more problem. And then we can choose, of course, different tradition, philosophy, but after and only after and then there is peace and love on this planet. And the politicians don't have any more power on you.
I'm not Muslim, I'm a human being.
I do not have a label. I'm a human being from the planet Earth.
As long as you identify yourself with the divisions, you cannot be one. If you identify yourself with the unification, you can be one. We are one. But if we identify ourselves, you can write it with our differences. We are not one. And when we are not one, we are ready to kill each other. So love is feeling one. We are one.
The Zeitgeist movement is not a political movement. It does not recognize divisionary notions such as nations, governments, races, religions, creeds, or class. Rather, we see the world as one organism, with the human species as a singular family. Simultaneously, we acknowledge that we depend entirely on our environment, not only in regard to the necessities of life, such as food, air, and water, but also for influence and guidance in regard to life's processes.
You know, I was very wary with the original release of Zeitgeist. I thought it was, well-produced, excellently done. I had a lot of questions. I actually interviewed Peter Joseph probably 2.5 years ago. And, looking back on it, if you check it out on YouTube, when I asked him, well, how do you feel about people interpreting this as kind of new agey and futuristic and kind of one-worldy, he got very defensive on that. And he was like, well, what's wrong with that? And I countered it by saying, well, a lot of the proponents of that don't seem to have this great utopian vision for the common man. It seems like that utopian vision is for the upper echelon, while the rest of us are pretty much...
We really must take into account the totality. This isn't just a human experience on this planet. This is a total experience. And we know we can't survive without plants and animals. We know we can't survive without the 4 elements, And so when are we going to really start taking that into account? That's what it is to be successful. Success depends on how well we relate to everything around us. I'm very aware of the fact that my grandson cannot possibly hope to inherit a sustainable, peaceful, stable, socially just world unless every child today growing up in Ethiopia, in Indonesia, in Bolivia, in Palestine, in Israel also has that same expectation. You got to take care of the whole community or you're going to have serious problems. And now we have to see that the whole world is the community. And we must all take care of each other that way. And it's not just a community of human beings. It's a community of plants and animals and elements. And we really need to understand that. That's what's going to bring us joy, too, and pleasure. That's what's missing in our lives right now. We can call it spirituality, but the fact of the matter is joy comes from that bliss of connectedness. That's our God spirit. That's that side of ourselves that really feels it. And you can feel it deep inside you. It's this amazing, wonderful feeling. And you know it when you get it. You don't get it from money. You get it from connection.
And one of the things that I don't think you've touched upon enough is the fact that this is very earth-based.
All right.
The next step.
Rael, we're going to have to leave it there. We'll have to have you back sometime.
I am so happy to see what's happening in the world right now about money. The financial institutions are crumbling down, and that's beautiful because it's in the Raelian message I brought more than 33 years ago, and it's happening. And now the king of the money, the dollar, is in a free fall, and I think it will not stop. And the only solution the Elohim explained to us is the creation of a world government and a world currency.
My first suggestion is to unify the regional movements into a global entity through representatives, where each major region has a personal link to each other. I believe this is starting to occur already. Then meetings need to occur with these representatives to plan more concerted actions to reinforce the global unity and presence. Second, a decision needs to be made as to where your main focus is. To keep but reform the current system or to work to basically remove it as a whole. And obviously, there can be a transitional phase incorporating both as well. Either way, these global representatives would need to prepare a World Occupy conference at a set location for the media to digest, where reform issues are presented, hence pushing recognition by the political establishment and the public. In the case of reform, this is where each regional group gains the recognition and organizes themselves to be able to engage their country-specific governmental bodies. In the case of complete revolution and the interest to remove the model itself and install a totally new system, as advocated by the Zeitgeist movement, a more radical undertaking is required. A parallel government needs to be created. Rather than work to get a seat at the proverbial table that exists, a new table needs to be created, and the representatives of each region are brought in, along with legal and technical teams associated. Much detail could be explained on that, but let's leave it there for now. Eventually, this will create a virtual global institution that begins to prepare the new social system, as the old system continues its operation and inevitable failure if you understand what this system is and how it can't resurrect itself at this point. And once the model is defined, a mass public awareness campaign is commenced as this new governing body and its work is announced. The tipping point will come once the public begins to see the merit of the new social proposal, hence recognizing the governing entity itself and eventually giving it priority over the prior political establishment.
Which is a first step towards the disappearance of money at large. But in the first step, for a few years, we need a world currency to save the world. Really to save the world, because if it continues like that now, with the free fall of the dollar, then the destruction of all the financial organization and banks and money system, then other money will follow, and then it can create a lot of wars and a lot of starvation and billions of people dying. And it's also possible it triggers a world nuclear war.
It would take 10 years to change the surface of the earth, to rebuild the world into a second Garden of Eden. The choice lies with you. The stupidity of a nuclear arms race, the development of weapons, trying to solve your problems politically by electing this political party or that political party, that all politics is immersed in corruption. Let me say it again. Communism, socialism, fascism, the Democrats, the liberals, we want to absorb human beings. Women's lib, all organizations that believe in a better life for man. There are no Negro problems or Polish problems or Jewish problems or Greek problems or women's problems. There are human problems. To come into socio-cyberneering and take your part and function. We are not concerned with the divisions of segments of society.
This is a concept which is condemned to disappear. It will disappear, and we have to replace the concept of a nation state by one nation state, the earth, humanity. And then you can save all humanity. It's exactly, to give you an image, a parallel, exactly what's happening in the big company, multinational companies. Very recently you saw Delta and Northwest merging together, and big companies, car companies, every companies in the world merging, because it's the only choice they have, to merge, to fusion, or to die.
Suppose your brain said, I'm the most important organ, and the liver said, I am, and I want to go a free enterprise system. You'd rot away in a month if every organ of your body went out for itself.
And it's the same. It is so strange to see that the specialists don't see it for nation state. They have also to merge or die. And if they die, we die also, because it will create a lot of international conflict, which can trigger a world nuclear war, which will be the doomsday of humanity and destroying every human being on Earth. So what is necessary? The only way out is the creation of this concept of nation-state humanity. By destroying the nation-state concept of individual nations.
We're going to do this thing Just as the automobile phased out the stagecoach, just as television stepped in and phased out the old vaudeville and the old motion pictures, that history and technology is respecters of no society, no individual opinions, but it moves on.
And then we can have peace, and we can save the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the National Go Topless Day 2009. Free your breath, free your mind.
We are working on changing the Constitution for equal rights. We would like to accomplish that females can walk topless everywhere where males can go topless.
Go Topless Day is an event held every year by the Raelians.
We hope to have as many women participate as possible.
Like Scientology, the Raelians have a UFO-based mythology. Unlike Scientology, the Raelians are open about what they believe.
We believe we have been created in the image of our creators and according to their likeness. And they met with Rael in person. And they taught him that people need to first give to themselves before they give to others. We need to love ourselves. We need to be happy and fulfilled with our body before we really can be comfortable with somebody else.
Free your breast, free your mind, free your breast, free your breast, free your mind, free your breast, free your mind, free your breast, free your mind. Free your breast, free your mind, free your breast. Move out of the way. Give somebody else a chance. We want everybody to know this is real.
Many men are taking so many pictures like they have never seen boobs before.
Today is Worldwide Zeitgeist Day, 15th of March. Today, people have gathered outside the BBC to protest about why has Zeitgeist not been shown on major TV. It was shown on the internet on YouTube and has been viewed by over 150 million people.
You can take a picture.
It happens all the time. Populations grow out of their civilizations. Lovers out of their relationships. Civilizations fall. People move on. But you are not the kind of love one learns to live without. And this time, our civilization is global. If we fall, who will be left to take over?
My guest is an extraordinary Miamian, Dr. Jacques Fresco. I could go through all the things that Dr. Fresco has done. He's a social engineer, industrial engineer, designer, inventor.
I feel different now. Since you always remain happy in the future, I thought I would find you here.
Hello. Hey. Hey, Roxanne.
You.
Good to see you. How are you?
I'm fine.
Hello,
How are
Jack.
you?
Very well.
Have a good trip?
I had a very good trip.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Do you care about your society?
Well, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't.
Even our concepts of aesthetics and beauty are often attributed to an intrinsic quality, but closer investigation reveals that these perceptions vary greatly from place to place and throughout history.
I think notions of aesthetics and beauty are for the most part learned. I mean, all you have to do are cross-cultural examinations of what people consider to be attractive and beautiful, and you'll find that they differ widely from culture to culture, and sometimes they differ widely within the same culture.
There's people who wear brass rings around their neck. They stretch their neck. If you took those rings away, the head would fall over, and they call that beauty. On some of the islands I went to visit, if the girl had a buttocks that stuck way out, that was beautiful. The other girls were nothing.
But even a girl might find herself shut up in a cage until she's put on those 265 pounds that make her almost, but not quite eligible for marriage in her country.
There has been a specific amount of insistence on the part of a YouTube user known as NN to all of us, NN being short for anonymous, that the Zeitgeist movement is a cult. For this reason alone, I thought it would be more prudent to respond in script formation rather than simply making the entire video non-scripted. The script will be in the description below, along with the source citations as well. One of the many claims he gives is that Jacques is a part of the Raelian movement.
Gentlemen, listen to me very carefully, because I have something to say to you. Our next guest, let me tell you his story. On December the 13th, 1973, he was 27 years of age and a motor racing fanatic. And on that day, December 13th, 1973, he was on his way to work, wasn't he? Because as well as being a motor racing enthusiast, he had his own motor racing magazine. And he was going to work, and he drove off his normal route to a volcano in central France on his way to work. There he met, listen to me closely now, there he met some extraterrestrials in their spaceship on the side of the volcano. It's only a small volcano. And they told him that they had created humankind in laboratories, and they asked him to spread the word throughout the world about them. Listen to me, Johnny, watch my lips. And they asked him to build an embassy on neutral territory so that they could come and visit the Earth, the people they had created, in peace. Now, in 1975, he met with the ETs again in a south-central region of France, and they took him with them to their planet, which is God knows how many light years away. I don't know how far it is. Now, he says that if even 5% of the people around the world who claim to have seen UFOs are sincere, then it's worth taking seriously. Let's have a welcome, please, for Claude Rael. This story is... When you got to the planet, what sort of life they led anyway when you got there?
They have no, of course, they have no work, like we used to have work.
Listen, I got tickets for everybody in the audience for one of these free trips now. If you're not careful, we could send you. Yes, Claude, so they have no work, and so what do they do all the time?
Why they have no work? Because, and we are slowly going inside this civilization. For instance, if all the people applaud here, it's because they feel men are not made to work. We have computers, we have robots, and we are not here to work like a machine. Machine can work for us. And for instance, to build a car in Japan a few years ago, it was necessary to have 10,000 people working. Now, only a computer. Of
course.
We are going slowly inside this kind of civilization. But they have 25,000 of scientific advance on us. There is no money on that planet.
There is no money.
There is no armies.
Yes.
There is no violence. And there is no disease. Because scientifically, they organize everything.
So what do they do all day, Claude?
They do what men are made for. Create, think, and épanoui themselves.